Make sure to like the video, subscribe and press the bell icon.
Hey my dear friends, welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna learn how to make this awesome QR code generator in Reader. This application will help you to generate a QR code and also to scan any QR code. So let's see how it works. First of all, I want to use the generate QR code to generate a QR code. I press this button. Here you can type any text or URL to convert it into QR code. For example, I want www.google.com. I want to make this one a QR code. Just click on generate QR code. Let me show you one thing before doing this. If you do not write anything and click QR code, it gives you this error message, so you have to write a text or a URL in here. Let's click the generate QR code and you can see it generated a QR code for you. Now let's save this QR code and go back. Now I want to read from that QR code, so I click the read QR code, and in here all you need to do is to select the QR code you want to scan. So I select my QR code and it reads it. Now let's try a QR code from the internet. Let's go to Google, QR code. Let's download a QR code, a random one, for example this one. Let's save this one and let me just close this one and scan this QR code. As you can see, it scanned the QR code for me and gave the text for me. I can also click this button to copy this one. The text is copied. Now I can paste the text and go to that website. As you can see, this is very easy and really cool. So you learn how this works, how to generate a QR code and how to read a QR code in one application. Now you're gonna talk how to make this awesome application. Before writing code, I want to show you the source code. This is the source code for this application. I want to have a look into each codes, each page and everything. The first file is our index. This is where this is located, and this is the QR code generator HTML file. This is the qrreader file. We also have two styles, one for generator and one for reader, and we also have two JS file, one for generate, one for read. Now we're gonna make this application from scratch. Maybe this video became too long, so for that reason I separate this video into two parts. In first part we will generate this home page and the generate QR code. In the second video we will make the read QR code. The first thing I want to do is inside my project folder I make a folder. I call it QR code, for example, and I drag and drop this one into my Visual Code Editor. I change some screen size of my Visual Code and browser to show you everything in live. Reload. So the first thing I have to do is to make the index.html file. I run this file with live server. It takes few seconds to load. Yes, it's loaded. Now any code I write here will be displayed in the browser live. Okay, first of all we make the HTML5 basic structure. I call it QR code generator and reader. I give it a title and once I did that, inside the body tag I make a div with a class of wrapper. Oh, sorry. And inside this wrapper I make a header, and I center this one and make an h1 and write QR code generator and reader. After the header I make a form, inside this form I make a button, and I call this one generate QR code. I give it a ID of QR and generate QR code, something like that. I copy this button, this is one more time. Now I write read QR code, I call it RQC, read QR code, something like that. Also give it a photo, link, and target blank, and alias line, for example. Okay. I think this is the structure. This is the structure. For this one I have to give these buttons a function. So to do that I come here, I write a script tag, and first I wanna select this button and this button, so I make a variable called generate QR code, and I select the document dot get element by ID to select this button by ID, which I put this button inside this variable. I just copy this one, paste it one more time. This time I call it read QR code, and now I select this button with ID, and now I want to give it a function. So whenever you click this button, it go to this page, the generate QR page, and this one go to the read QR code. So this is very easy. I select my first button. Once I selected my first button, I use an event listener, so I add an event listener of click, and then it runs an arrow function, which the function will redirect the user. So window dot location dot href, and this is equal to the page name. So I want to, whenever someone click on generate QR code, it go to page QR code generator.html, which I make it later. And just like that I copy this one and replace the generate QR with read QR code, and on click this time it go to this page QR code reader, which I make it later. Now let's save this one and see if it works. Yeah, it works. Yeah, this one also works. So our index.html is completed. Before I give it a style or anything, I want to make this QR code generate.html, and then I want to give them both style at once. So I make a file called qrcode generator.html, which now if press we go to that page. I want to give it some, I want to make this page. So first, as always, make the basic HTML5 structure. I give it a title of maybe let's give it a title of generate QR code. Okay. The first thing I want to do is let's make the wrapper and those things, then later we do that. Okay, I make a div with the class of wrapper, and inside this one I make a header. Inside my header I make an h1 and I write qrcode.js, and after that I make a paragraph. I write paste a URL or enter text to create QR code. Let's save it. That's how it looks. Okay, cool. After the header I make another div with the class of form, and inside this form I make an input. I make an input. I give it type text, which is text, and I say the spell check is false, so I don't check the spell, and I give it a placeholder of enter text or URL. Let's save it. Yeah, it works. Once we did that, I want let's see what we need. We need buttons, so I make a div with class of maybe button positions, so I can position the button inside the flexbox. Later in the CSS I make a button and call it generate QR code, and I make another button. I call this button will be to go back to the home page, so I call it go back. I also want to give it an ID of go back. You see how it looks? Yeah, looks good. And after you got our div, and after that I make another div with a class of photo, or I can go to my index and just copy this footer. I want the footer in every of my page. And I think no, that's not it. I also need the QR image. So to do that, in here I make another div. I make another div with a class of QR code, and inside this I make an image. I don't give it any source, I just give it a alt of QR code maybe, and that is it. Because later in the code I want that modal to pop up when I don't write any text, so all I need is to import a library. This is the library. Where is it? This is the modal library. I just paste it here after the title, and all I need to do is just copy this text and paste it at the bottom of the code, just like that. Okay, our code is completed, but not very completed, because I also want to link this one to my style file, so to give it a style, and I also want to give this go back function a functionality. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I write a script, and inside the script I make a variable of go back and equal to document dot get element by ID of this one, this go back button. So whenever we click that button, we can be able to go back. I select this go back button, and add an event listener to it, and then event listener click, it runs an error function. It runs this error function, sorry, like this, and this one will redirect our page to the home page. Sorry, location. And this was equal to index.html, and that is it. Let's save and test it. Yeah, it go back. You see, now our program looks really bad. We have to give it a style. So I make a folder, I call it CSS. Inside this file, this folder, I make a file called generator, generator.css, not JS, CSS. And I have to link this one to our program. I say link CSS. I have to select it, and this is inside CSS folder, so I say CSS slash and generate CSS. I also copy this one and paste it inside my index, because I want to give them both style in this page in one CSS. So let's give it a style. The first thing we want to do is to import the Google Font library, which is this one, and after that I want to remove the default design of the page. So I select all and I set the margin to 0. I just remove the default design, padding to 0, and box sizing to border box. And I also want to put a font family of Poppins and Sans Surf. Now I save it. You see, text looks much better. After that, I want to give a design to our body. I want to display everything in flex, in a flex box. So display flex. I want to give padding of 10 pixel, 0.8 pixel. I want to give the page a min height of 100 VH. Also want to align everything, align items to the center, and I want to give a background color, background color. This is the background color I want to give. It's a nice background color, and after that I want to justify content center. As you can see, our page looks nice. So both homepage and generate QR code. Okay, after that I want to give another color to our selection. This is a selection when you hover over a text. So let's select the selection and give it a color of this color, white, and a background of this one. Now it looks much better. Okay, now select our wrapper. I want to select my wrapper. Oh no, copy this one and paste it here. Give a design to my wrapper. I will give it a height of 275 pixel. I want to give it a max width, sorry, max width of 410 pixel. I also want to give it a background color of white, which is this FFF. And after that I want to give it a border radius of 7 pixel, and a padding of 20 pixel, 25 pixel, and 0. Let's see. Yeah, it looks much nice. After that I wanna give it a transition, because whenever we click on generate code, it generates the QR code. So when it does happen, I want to have it happen very smooth, so I give it a transition. I give it a transition of what? Of height, which I make it later, of this height, because our height will increase. So the transition will be on height, and I give it a time of 0.2 second. Yes. After that I want to make a box shadow, which is really cool. If you want to know a bit more about box shadow, make sure to check one of my videos. You can learn everything about box shadow on that video. 13 pixel RGBA, and I give it 0, 0, 0, 0 and 0.1. Let's see how it looks. 0, 0, 0, 0. Sorry, there's one more 0, I think. Let's see. It looks nice. As you can see, I got some shadow on my background. Okay. Now let's see what we have. I want one thing. I want my wrapper will have two states. One is the default and one is the active state. The active will happen when I generate the QR code. It generates the QR for me, so the QR image will take some space. So that's when my wrapper will be active, and I want to increase the height of my wrapper. So I just select my wrapper and give it another class of active. I give it a class of active, and when this happen, I want to increase the height, so I increase the height to 550 pixel. I later select add this active to the wrapper when the QR is generated on our JavaScript. After that, let's see what we have. We have a header of each one, so I select the header of each one and give it some style, font size of 21 pixel, font weight of 500 pixel, sorry, 400. Okay. After that I have this paragraph, so I select it by header P, and I give it a margin top of maybe 5 pixel. I give it a color. There's a nice color of 57. I think this is 357. Yeah, that's it. This is a nice color, right? That one looks better. And I also want to give it a font size. A font size is 16 pixel. After that, I wanna select. Let's see what you got. We have the form, so I wanna select the form. I wanna select the wrapper, and from wrapper I wanna select the form. I wanna give it a margin 20 pixel, 0, 25 pixel. Yeah, now you have a nice margin. After that, I want to select the form, and from form I want to select multiple items, the input in the button. To do that, I just write where, and inside this bracket I say input and comma button. So I select both at the same time by using this where. I'll give it a width of 100%. I give it, sorry, this is not for weight. Yes, it's for weight. Let's save it. Yeah, this looks nice. I want to give it a height of 5 pixel. Oh, I also want to give it a border of none. I want to remove the border. Now it looks much nice. I want to remove the outline to none. I want to give it a border radius of 5 pixel. That's it. That is it. I also want to give this one a transition because I later want some hover animation on my button, so I say transition 0.1 and is. Now let's give style to our input, so by using form, and from form I want to select the input box and I want to give it a font size of 18 pixel. I'm going to give it a padding of 0 and 7 pixel. Let me remove this one. And I also want to give it a border of 1 pixel and a good color, which is 999. It's a nice color. Now we have a nice input box. And you see it doesn't look nice when I focus on my input box. I want to give this input part a focus style, so I say form input focus. On focus I want to give it a box shadow. Box shadow is very powerful and makes any design, any element very nice. RGBA, and I want to give it a 0.0.0 and 0.13. Let's see. Yeah, now when I select, you see this shadow comes. That's much nicer. I also want to give it a design for the placeholder, so I select my form input, and this time I'm going to give design to the placeholder, just 2 of this and placeholder. All I want is to change the color to 999 3 nines. You see the placeholder text changed. It's much nicer now. Now let's give some design to our buttons. So I select the button from the form. I give it a color of white, which is FFF. I want to change the cursor on my button, so I say cursor. I want a pointer. Now you can see our cursor change when I come. I'm gonna give it a margin top of 20 pixel, and I also want to give it a font size of 7 pixel and a background color of, let's see, there we go, this nice color. Now our button looks much nicer. After that I want a hover animation, hover design on my button. I select my button and hover. On hover I want to change the color. No, I don't want to change the color. All I want is to change the background color to 4. I forgot the color code. I think this is 4B9DD4. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. You see, it's a nice color changing on hover. After that I want to give a QR. I want to stylize my QR, which is, let's see, so I not make a mistake. Yes, this div, which is QR code, is selected by class, and let's give it some design. I give it an opacity of 0, so we don't want to see that now, right now. We change later this opacity on our JavaScript. I want to display flex, justify content center, align items center. I want to give it a padding padding of 13 pixel and 0, a border radius of 5 pixel, a pointer events, there it is, the pointer events of none. You can select it, and also give it a border of 1 pix, solid, and this nice color. You can see this right now, but you will see that the chain opacity, you can see this now. It's very nice, right? Okay. Now our wrapper also have our QR code will also change when it's active. So I select the wrapper dot active, and then my QR code, let's give it an opacity of 1. Whenever our wrapper is on active, the opacity will be displayed, and that's how we change the opacity to 1. Also want to change the pointer event to auto, and let's also give it a transition, so this happened very nicely of the transition on the opacity, on this one, on opacity 0.5 second, is okay. You can't see this right now, but whenever we add this color by JavaScript, you see a nice smooth animation, and our QR code will display very nicely. Okay, let's give some design to let's change this opacity to 1 so you can see everything. I want to give design to the image, the QR code image, the image of this one. I just want to give it a width of 117 pixel, just like that. Let's change the opacity to 0 again. After that, I want a design for our footer. I give it a margin top of 10 pixel. I want to select the footer, select by class. From the footer, I want to select the footer. Let's see what was its name. Yeah, the footer link. Footer link, and I give it a text decoration none, a color of 57. I want to give it a font size, and instead of writing any pixel, I just select the small, and I just want to give it an hover. I want to give it this design. I just want to change the color to 4 dbd for this color. Also give it a transition, not on transition of all 0.5 second. Yeah, it's look much nicer right now. And just like that, I want to give it, I'll select the, let's see what you got here. Okay, we have enough. Let's see, in home we have a div of button position. We have to give that one a design. Let's select the button position itself. Let's give it some design to change this button size. I want to display them in flexbox. I give it a justify content of center. I want to align the item in center. Let's save it. Let's give it also give it a gap of 10 pixel. Yeah, you see now it looks very nice. It looks nice, right? Yeah. From the button position. I want to select the button itself. The text I think looks a little bit big. Let's change the font size to 15 pixel. Yeah, now it looks much nicer. After that I wanna select the button, hover. I think I didn't need anything. Let's go back. Everything look nice. Okay, I don't need any over because we did it already. As you can see, our both the generate QR code and our homepage look very nice. The boat looks really nice, but there's one problem. If we change the size to mobile size, you see our footer is not on the place. It doesn't look nice, and when you generate the QR, it doesn't fit the page. So let's change some design on the mobile device to make it completely responsive. So I just use media max width. When the screen is smaller than 413 pixel, I give this design for it. First I select the wrapper. I change some style on my wrapper. First I change the height to 219 pixel, and also want to give it some padding, 16 pixel and 20 pixel. After that I also want to change the wrapper active state, which is very important. Wrapper.active, and let's change the height of this one to 515 pixel. I also want to give some style to change the style of my header from header P. I want to change the color of this one, color to 69, something like that. Okay, what else I need to change on the mobile device? I select the form, and from form I select the input and button, and in here I change the height of this one to 52 pixels. And I also want to change the QR code image, so I select it with QR code image, and I want to change the width of this one to 116 pixel, and that is enough. Let's check this out. Yeah, you can see our photo looks nice and everything looks cool. That's enough for styling and making the page. Now you have to give this one a functionality, so whenever we write anything, it convert it to QR. To do that, I go to my folder, make another folder. I make a JS folder, and inside this JS folder I make another file. I call it qrreader.js. Save it. I have to import this file into my qrgenerate file, so I come to my qrgenerate file. Before the body tag I say script, and write this one as a source, so it's not like this. First I have to select the folder, which is JS, and inside the JS I select the generate.js. Now anything we write on the generate.js will happen in our page. So let's go to the generate.js. This is very important because every action happen here, so this file is very important. So first of all, we have to select some elements from our HTML. I make a constant of wrapper, and I select document.querySelector. I select my wrapper. Once we selected the wrapper, I want to also select the input of this wrapper, so I call it qr input and equal to from the wrapper I want to select query selector, and from the form I select input. Okay, we also want to select the button, this generate button, so I give it the name of generate button. Yeah, and this is equal to, from the wrapper, query selector, and from the form I select the button, just like that. I also want to select the image. I give it a variable of qrImage, which is equal to, from the wrapper, query selector, and this is qr. From the QR code I select the image. Okay, that's all selection. I want to make a variable pre-value, which we later use it. Just make it right now. Okay, so you have to make an event listener on this button. So I select the button, I add an event listener, add event listener on the generate button. Okay, this button will be run on click and click, and click, and after that we make an arrow function. An arrow function, let's test it if it works or not. Yeah, it works. Okay, inside this button, first we want to get our input value, so I make a variable, call it qr value. This is equal to this qr input dot value. Now you can get this value, and because maybe the user writes something and give it in a space or only a space before the text, we don't want these spaces, we just want the text itself. To remove that, there is a nice function inside JavaScript called trim. We use this trim. Now it doesn't get any space after the text, it just gets the text itself, which is really important in this case. Okay, after that, let's see what we need. We made the trim. Now you have to check if the user typed anything or not. We use if the qr value is not equal, or where is that, or this one, or the pre-value, which is this variable we made, is equal to the qr value. This is nothing. It means if our URL is empty, we run this function. As you saw, we imported this model library in our generate qr.html, and we paste this one. Now we can easily display a message in a model by just using 2 lines of code. This library is very useful. Just say model dot style dot display equal to block, and after that write model text dot inner HTML equal to the text you want. So what you want here is to print, please enter a text or URL and the QR input. Now let's test it out. I didn't write anything. If I press, I get this nice model with my text. If I type anything, I don't get it. Okay, so this is when there's no text. and I say else if there is a text. Now what we want to equal my qr value to the pre value, so I write pre value is equal to qr value, and after that I want to change this generate button when this is happening. So I select my generate button, I change it as text inner, not in HTML, inner text. This is equal to generating QR code dot. After that I wanna display the QR image. To do that I select my QR image dot src, which is this is source, and this is equal to this backtick. You need to use backtick in here, and you have to write this URL. Where is it? Here. Just copy paste this URL. After the data is equal to, just write dollar and this bracket, and inside this bracket just write your qr value, this qr value. And after that, okay, that's it. Okay, it doesn't show anything. We have to write some another line of codes. After this I want to select my qr image. I want to add an event listener to it, and this event listener is on load. When it's loading, it runs this function. I use this array function. Inside the function I select my wrapper, I add a class, so by using class list.add I add this active class list, which we made a few minutes ago on our CSS, which I see very important because we want to increase the size of this wrapper. That's it. And we also need to change our button text back to normal, so I select my generate button dot inner, not in HTML, inner text equal to the default one, which is generate QR code, and let's save it out. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, as you can see, it generated this QR code for me very easily. I can write any QR and it make it for me. Okay, let's test again. Yeah, that works very nice. Okay, I want one more thing. When we remove this text, we should remove the QR also. To do that, I just make I select the QR input and add an event listener to it, and this happens when the key up, and it runs this error function, and inside this error function we say if the QR input value is not trimmed, .trim is not equal, it runs this function. What it does, I select the wrapper, I remove a class from it. Which class? The active class. Active class. And I also want to remove the pre-value to nothing. Let's save it out and see if it works. Now I'm gonna write something, it generates the QR for me. If I remove the text, it also remove the QR for me. So our generate QR code program is finished, and as you can see it works great. If we go back and select generate QR code, if I write any URL, for example Google www.facebook.com, and I click this generate QR, it make that QR for me. If I remove the text, it hides it again, and there's a very nice animation when it loads. And we also have our go back button also work. We can select the program from the home page, and that's all, my friends. Okay, this video already became too long. I want to make this read QR code in separate video. So if you guys learn this video, make sure to put a comment if you have any question about this, and if you want to watch the tutorial about read QR code, I'm gonna make it in next few days. So that's it, my friends. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Have a great time.